Hi, Chico.
I'm a bit wary of you, Chico, I must say.
They might look happy, but these rare animals have been stolen, drugged, and sent far from home.
This boy was born somewhere high in the trees, given birth to mother, and the mother must have been shot. Ow! Just because some rich person somewhere in this world believes that having an orangutan as a pet is okay.
Tonight, inside a multi-billion-dollar global business, we meet the smugglers.
That's like killing a human being.
And the campaigners putting their lives on the line.
It's a well-oiled, very well-organized criminal gang. It's mafia.
And we find out how some of the great apes are finally coming home.
After a lifetime in captivity, they're just about to release this orangutan in this beautiful, lush forest, exactly where it should be.
About 3 hours south of Bangkok on our way to film some babies. They're not just any old babies. These are orangutans that were stolen from a forest in Indonesia and discovered in the back seat of a Bangkok taxi.
There we meet again. Okay, hi.
Nice to see you again.
We're at Kapatap Chang now, so.
Great.
Animal rights campaigner Edwin Wiek is taking us to meet them.
Oh, here they are.
Yeah, here they are. Yeah, so these are the ones that came from the taxi.
Yeah.
It's actually quite sad to see that they've been in a couple of months now. At least they got each other.
This is Namita and Chisuka just over a year ago, filmed in the back of a taxi by an anti-trafficking group. The group used Facebook to pose as a buyer, paying a deposit of $3,000 US. Thai police held the driver for a few hours, then let him go without charges. As for the real criminals behind the sale of these 3-month-old orangutans, we'll come to them a bit later.
This is the surrogate mother?
Yeah, this is the mama.
You're the mum?
A year on, the rescued babies have a new temporary home here at a government sanctuary. They're just 2 of many smuggled orangutans that end up in Thailand every few months, far from their jungle home in Indonesia.
So Anne takes care of the 4 orangutans here.
Sorry.
And she just basically feeds them every day. So they still drink milk. They come and smell you now.
Hello, baby.
They look healthy.
Yeah, they look okay.
Look okay.
These 4 babies were all ripped from their mothers.
What's the prospect of these guys going back to the jungles of Sumatra?
Because they're young, there's a much better chance of them being repatriated back to Indonesia and going actually really to the wild, especially because they're Sumatran. So there's a good chance there's the political will there. They have a bond now.
The longer animals are out of the wild, the harder it is to send them back.
And this also.
Harry's been here for 3 years.
Harry! Harry, will you be nice, please? Harry was found in a public bus together with a Bornean langur and a Bornean gibbon, the 3 of them. So they were put on a bus in a box to be brought to Bangkok. They were caught in Hua Hin, so that's about half an hour from our center.
Orangutan trafficking is a lucrative business, worth perhaps tens of millions of dollars per year by some estimates. Babies are stolen from the jungles of Indonesia and sold as pets and for zoos for entertainment. Orangutans are especially valued because they can be dressed up and taught to do tricks. This was filmed recently at a zoo just outside Jakarta. The most lucrative destination is the Middle East, where the trafficked animals can fetch tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So this is the best way to get around, yeah?
Yeah, this is the best way because it's large.
Originally from the Netherlands, Edwin Wiek is a pioneer in wildlife protection in Thailand and a bit of a local legend. "18 years ago, he survived a serious car accident. Ever since, he's devoted his life to rescuing and caring for animals. He runs projects throughout Asia, including this refuge in southern Thailand. His work often brings him into conflict with authorities.
I've been in jail several times because you're pissing off the wrong people. Illegal wildlife trade is very lucrative. A lot of people make lots of money, including some politicians or government officials in some cases.
I've been pulled out of my car once at night by a couple of people pretending to be police who probably weren't. They could have killed me if they wanted, but they didn't. Basically, it's shocking.
Mimi! Mimi! Ooh. Where are you going, Mimi? Where are you going? Whoop, whoop. Well done, Nin. You see, this is not what I would suggest as a normal habitat for orangutans.
No.
But it's a great area to teach them how to live in the trees again.
Edwin takes me to meet Maggie and Chico, two orangutans who are still damaged from their former lives as pets.
There they are over there.
Oh, there they are. Yeah, here we go.
Hi, Chico.
I'm a bit wary of you, Chico, I must say. Very wary of Chico, aren't I? As long as you don't bite me, I'll be fine.
He is your charmer.
Chico.
Chico.
Thanks, Chico.
Chico, she doesn't like red hairs. She likes blonde men.
Chico is 5 years old and was taken from the rainforests of Borneo when he was a baby. He used to belong to a senior Thai police officer.
Chico, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with that umbrella?
He was dumped because he was too difficult to handle.
Maggie, where are you? Oh, there she is, there she is. You can see her hanging up there, you see?
Maggie is from Sumatra. She was smuggled into Thailand as a baby and was somebody's pet.
Maggie, come on. Come on. Maggie, Maggie. So she looks for a high place and then she just, every day she builds a nest. Unfortunately, we can't let her sleep here because the local people would probably kill her at night if they go hunting in the area and they see something in the tree. They wouldn't know what it is and they'll just shoot it first and then check it. So, you see?
Oh, you did it.
She's so clever. Clever girl!
But while Maggie displays all the right signs of rehabilitation, Chico shows none. He doesn't even know how to climb a tree.
Ow! If you realize that this boy was born in the jungle of Borneo, somewhere high in the trees, given birth, the mother must have been shot.
Yeah, of course.
It's just because some rich person somewhere in this world believes that having an orangutan as a pet is okay. You can see in one view here the boy being completely wasted by humans against a girl who has found her kind of freedom again and is living a much more natural kind of life.
Edwin says many of the rescued animals he returns to Indonesia end up back in zoos.
So they're just caged again.
First caged again. So I find it utterly disgusting that the Indonesian government is not keeping its promise that the animals that were confiscated in Thailand and repatriated back to Indonesia were put into proper rescue facilities to be at least rehabilitated to some kind of social life with other orangutans in the semi-wild, but even better, back to the wild.
about to find out just how bad it can get. We've come to the Indonesian capital, Jakarta, to investigate Edwin's claims. And after repeated requests, we've finally managed to get inside a government-run animal rescue centre.
Thank you very much. I know it's late.
To see a male orangutan, Jono, who's been caged here for 5 years after being confiscated from a local group that kept him as a pet. We hear him before we see him. Jono was rescued in April 2012. He's been in this cage ever since.
This has just been so incredibly confronting to see the animal caged like this huge orangutan caged in this cage behind me for 5 full years. He's obviously distressed. It's been, there's just no words. There's no words.
We're told Jono will finally be taken to an orangutan sanctuary sometime this year, but he'll still need to be caged. At 15 years old, he's huge and now dangerous. Orangutans can live for up to 60 years in the wild, but for him, rehabilitation is no longer an option. Around the corner is baby Otan. Confiscated from a house in South Jakarta, he's been caged since April last year. Owning a pet primate is a big status symbol here, even though it's illegal. Chances are that, like most trafficked orangutan babies, Otan was grabbed after traffickers killed his mother. We've found an insider who can tell us exactly how it all works.
So we're on the way to Medan in North Sumatra, where a former wildlife smuggler has agreed to talk to us. He was involved in smuggling orangutans. We want to quiz him about what motivated him, how much he was paid, and what sort of sinister underworld he was actually involved in.
Driven by guilt, he's now an informant for Scorpion, an anti-wildlife trafficking unit based in Indonesia. We must protect his identity or he could be killed.
Tell me, how did you first become involved in the smuggling of wildlife?
Di faktor utamanya pasti dengan besarnya nominal uang.
He would pay a local tribesman the equivalent of $50 Australian for a baby and on-sell it to a middleman for around $2,500. He was selling around 3 orangutans a week.
So I want you, if you could, describe to me in detail how the hunter gets the orangutan off the mother.
Setiap dia hinggap, itu dipotong pohonnya. Jadi dia melompat ke satu lagi, itu dipotong sampai dia mentok, baru dilempar jaring. Setelah itu induknya itu dipukul atau ditembak, dipukul pakai kayu. Udah istilahnya sekarat, udah nggak bisa apa-apa, baru bayi tadi diambil.
His orangutan smuggling career ended after one last traumatic kill.
Matanya udah kejam, dia langsung seperti manusia memeras susunya tadi untuk anaknya tadi, dan kemudian posisi udah ada sekitar 8-9 kali pencetan, tapi memang udah ada air susu dia tadi, langsung nggak sadarkan diri, posisi udah mati. Dari situ saya berhenti untuk memegang orangutan.
And according to you and your view of orangutans, that's like killing a human being.
Situ ya merasa ya gimana, seperti ya bagaimana saya kembali ke diri saya sendiri, bagaimana kalau ini terjadi sama saya, dipisahkan sama anak.
The smugglers are constantly devising new ways to get the animals out of the country. Our ex-smuggler and other sources tell us they rely partly on corrupt officials at airports.
Jadi sebelum diberangkatkan, baby orangutan tadi diberi minum susu. Susu terkadang dicampur dengan bubur sun, dibuat kenyang. Setelah itu dipakaikan pampers, dikasih guling untuk dipeluknya. Jadi ini guling yang dipeluknya tadi memang payah untuk kita ambil lagi, memang berat, payah. Dia beranggapan bahwasanya inilah orang tuanya yang dipeluknya tadi.
It's not just orangutans that are in demand. This baby gibbon was discovered a few months ago in the Jakarta home of a wealthy Indonesian who wanted it as a pet.
We've seen it all. Pilots, cabin attendants being used to smuggle stuff because they can eventually put whatever they want on the plane anyway. We've seen diplomats using their diplomat suitcases to smuggle wildlife or parts of wildlife. The Chinese are notorious for it. They do it all the time from Africa. It's all possible. It's a well-oiled, very well-organized criminal gang. It's mafia behind it.
That means they go from Indonesia, they're in Malaysia, they're in Thailand.
They're everywhere.
Some smuggled orangutans do get a second chance. We've come to East Kalimantan on the island of Borneo to see how the rescued animals are reintroduced into the wild. Borneo is one of the most heavily forested areas left in Indonesia, but with only 50,000 wild orangutans left, they're critically endangered. It's even worse in Sumatra, where it's believed there are only 6,500. They're the only two places in the world where wild orangutans live, and they're in danger of dying out due to habitat destruction and the illegal pet trade.
Hi, Hardy.
Hi. Hi.
Thanks for having us. It was a long way to get here.
Welcome to our center.
Hardy Baktiantoro runs the Centre for Orangutan Protection, or COP.
I always like to call Hardy the orangutan commando. He is one of the real people fighting on the front line against the abuse, the poaching, the trade of orangutans and other wildlife, but especially orangutans in Indonesia. And at the same time, he's got to be politically correct and keep in good shape with the authorities in Indonesia, because if he wouldn't, he couldn't continue his work.
Poppy seems to really like her a lot.
Poppy was found wandering near a local farm. Her mother was almost certainly killed by hunters. She'll need the help of her human surrogate Wetty for at least 3 years. Just like a human baby, orangutans need feeding every couple of hours right through the night. When they're kept as pets, they rarely get the care they need.
Perlakuan yang salah. Misalnya dikasih makan mie goreng atau dikasih nasi, itu salah perlakuan. Yang ketiga adalah perlakuan yang buruk. Harusnya dia digendong, didekap dengan merasa aman, dia hanya ditaruh dalam kardus atau di dalam tas.
Poppy is on her way to forest school. These are her classmates.
Let's go.
Here, they'll very simply learn to be orangutans, to find their own food in the jungle, to climb, to be wild.
Nangis, she's crying.
Oh, she's crying to come.
Going.
Poppy is the least brave in the class, but they'll all have time to learn. They'll remain here for at least another 5 years before being released into the wild.
Itu juga takut naik pohon. Mereka nggak ngerti naik pohon itu seperti apa. Jadi kalau ada orangutan, kita taruh di atas pohon, meskipun hanya 1 meter, dia akan nangis. ketakutan. Jadi kita harus ikut naik pohon. Dia naik pohon, dia mulai pintar naik pohon ke lebih tinggi lagi. Ketika dia nggak bisa turun, kita harus naik ke atas menjemputnya. It's okay.
Hello.
It's okay.
Hello. It's my hair.
It's okay.
Is it the colour? Oh, he wants the hairband, I think.
Once they've matured and have reached a state of semi-wild, it'll be time for the next step, a pre-release island and no cages for a while. We're heading there now to deliver the adult orangutans their breakfast. The alpha male Hercules was rescued from a decrepit university zoo in 2015. Soon, he'll be released back into the wild.
They've waited a bit long. They were getting really angry, weren't they? So there's corn and banana.
This is Oki. He's about to be set free after spending most of his 15 years in some form of captivity. We're lucky enough to be able to film with Hardy and his team as it happens.
Akhirnya bisa kembali ke alam bebas. Ini sebuah mungkin pengalaman hidup yang luar biasa bagi dia.
First, he has to be sedated. Then they take samples of his fingerprints and hair so they can identify him later. Finally, Oki is transferred into an even smaller box, ready for tomorrow's journey. It has to be small so he can't move around and hurt himself or us. We set off early the next day, but it's a long journey with many delays, and the vet is worried about Oki spending 20 hours in a very small box.
Stres ada tetap sedikit, tapi sampai saat ini karena dari selama perjalanan kita jaga dari kondisi temperatur kandang dan segala macamnya, kita usahakan tetap tidak dalam kondisi yang sangat panas atau sangat dingin. Ditaruh di sini karena perjalanan juga jauh, prosesnya lumayan jauh, jadi mau nggak mau dia harus lama di sini. Dan tugas dari saya sebagai tim medis adalah untuk tetap menjaga kondisinya tetap.
Now the final leg. A 2-kilometre walk into the Sungai Lesson Conservation Forest.
So we've just actually crossed a river. We're having a few issues with our camera, which is fogging up. So it's a really hard thing to film actually, but it's really quite incredible. What a special moment. After a lifetime in captivity, they're just about to release this orangutan in this beautiful, lush forest, exactly where it should be.
Oki isn't following the script. Normally, orangutans, a solitary animal in the wild, move quickly away from humans and climb a tree.
Sebenarnya itu di luar rencana bahwa harapan kita adalah dia tidak kembali memutarbalikkan badannya dan melihat orang. Tapi ternyata ya seperti itulah yang terjadi karena memang dia adalah orangutan dari ex-rehab.
We leave. All alone now, Oki returns, unsure of what to do or where to go. He finds a camera in the tree and tries to eat it. It's a new day.
A team returned last night and said that Oki had made a nest, which was a really, really good sign. Now we're heading back up early this morning with the vet to check that he's okay. The next big thing is that he has to have eaten some fruit from the trees. So we'll see.
For now, he hasn't gone far from where he was first released. Then he spots us.
So it seems to be following us down the river. So the vet's just told us to hurry up and get away from it. So probably not ideal.
For our own safety, we have to leave the path and head through the dense rainforest.
Dia juga tampaknya terganggu karena kita terlalu ramai. Karena dia tidak terbiasa melihat keramaian seperti ini. Jadi kondisinya ada dua, dia lapar dan terganggu.
Eventually, we shake him off. For Rocky, there's a good chance it will all end well. Sadly, he's the exception.
Those government officials in Indonesia know very well what's going on. They know who the hunters are, they know who the traders are. Without help from the authorities, you wouldn't get these animals out of the country.
And this remains a very dangerous game for those trying to expose the corruption.
When I stop at a red light and a motorbike with two people stop next to me, I'm sometimes a bit worried when I go somewhere I haven't been before, but kind of fear more for my Thai colleagues or my Indonesian colleagues like Hardy, whose lives are probably in more danger than mine.
As for the smugglers who used Facebook to sell the babies in the taxi, it's business as normal. We've been told by a reliable source that investigations into the case have stalled, even though Thai police know who the perpetrators are, where they live, and have bank account evidence against them. For now, Namita and Chisuka are stuck here in Thailand. Their rainforest home in Sumatra is still too dangerous. Indonesian authorities admit that orangutans are likely to become extinct in the wild in 50 years. Some conservationists fear it will be much sooner. Edwin Wiek says that just shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Whether they are influential politicians, government people, or just wealthy business people, hit them as hard as you can. They should be hit as hard as drug dealers and weapon dealers. That's what they really are. We'll make sure that these poachers are being caught, being told to stop, and hurt them too, because if it doesn't hurt, it won't work.